Hello and welcome back, survivors. This is Darius Torana and we are back. Today we are on the island looking at some of the best base locations for PvE. For those not in the know, PvE is player versus environment. We're definitely not talking about good base locations for PvP or player versus player. Honestly don't know anything about that. I'm not a PvP player and I never have been. I very much enjoy the player versus environment aspect of the game. I do eventually want to try to get into the whole PvP thing, but I'm just, as of right now, not very good at that. We're doing a top 6 today to save on a little bit of time, but without further ado, here we go with our number 6. Our number 6 slot today is given to the Southern Isles. The area that I think is a good area to build in is found around 9357. While the buildable zones in this spot are definitely limited, I would say that the area around will give you the areas you need to build dino pens and such, and you can just use the inner area here as your main base location. One of the main issues that I have with this location, however, is the fact that there's no metal nodes nearby that are easily accessible. That is why, despite the fact that it has beautiful visuals, I do put this as the number 6 slot. Another issue that I have with this location is also a lack of spawns nearby. There doesn't really seem to be that many dinosaurs that really spawn around this area. There is a neat little entrance that you can build up like doors and stuff at, as well as that little pond which does have that early game oil, which is a very important resource. I'm not sure how affected by you building around the area the oil nodes respawning will be, so I would just take that into consideration when building up around this area. Definitely can't deny, though, this is one of the most beautiful areas on Ark Survival Ascended, the island. The visuals here are absolutely gorgeous. Moving on to our number 5, the Eastern Forest. I think a good build spot is going to be around 4783. There are a lot of wide open spaces here to be able to build large structures, and honestly you can build an entire little village here. So in my opinion, this would be a great tribe location. Unlike in the Southern Isles, there is a plethora of different creatures here, both carnivores and herbivores. You're also very close to the mountains for easy access to metal, as well as close to the swamps for their variety of unique creatures as well. One potential negative that I can see here is just the fact that the trek down to the water is going to be fairly tedious. And now that there's not pipes, I'm not exactly sure how you would pipe that water up to this kind of plateau area. However, again, the visuals of this place are stunning. It's not as pretty, in my opinion, as the Southern Isles was. The visuals aren't quite as good, but there are still quite a lot of pretty visuals here as well. Now, our number 4 slot, I will admit, is on this list because it's one of my personal favorite areas to build a base. it's not what I would call an ideal location. Dead Island, or more commonly referred to as Carno Island, is a location that is fully inhabited by carnivores. This makes it exceptionally dangerous to build around. Granted, once you have a base built up, you now have access to some of the beefiest and best carnivores in the games, and also raptors. Spawning in the hundreds here are Argentavis, one of the best flyers in the game that you definitely want. Carnosauruses, they are awesome at being kind of an early game mid-tier mount. Rexes, which are literally the top tier boss dino. And awesomely enough, there is actually a section of Carno Island which is free of spawns, so it's fairly easy to build a small base there. You won't want to build this base if you are a part of a tribe. This is definitely going to be a solo base, because the area you can build in is not large. It's definitely going to be a more micro base. Another potential issue that you can run into is where that base can be built. It does have some basic resources like the trees, rocks, plants to get fiber, stone, wood, and thatch. However, once you start building your base, those things don't respawn because the area is so small. Very little of it is actually going to respawn for you, so item collection is going to be kind of a hassle. However, there are some positives about building here as well. There are 3 loot drop locations that come down on the main island that will be very easily accessible to you if you build here. Those item locations do start at blue rarity, however they can go all the way up to red, which is really good. There's also a cave in the area which has a loot box fairly close to the start of the cave, so you know that can also be very useful. And once you have an Argentavis, the Metal Mountains are just a short flight away, so you're able to get that metal as well as other assorted resources from a very short flight from where your base will be located. Our number 3 slot does bring us halfway through our list, and in this slot I have chosen the Maw. Again, this area does have quite a few drops around it, some of them being red, many of them being purple and yellow. Honestly, though, you could really say the Maw is close to everything, because the Maw is nearly smack dab in the middle of the map. The coordinates really don't seem like they are. It's at 3649. However, with the fact that some of the map is taken up by ocean on the side, the mainland of the island, this is right near the middle. There's multiple mountains nearby, which do give you that important resource of metal. You're a short flight away from the snow biomes, which will let you have access to the oil, as well as a short flight away from the redwoods for their unique creatures and resources, short flight away from the swamps for their unique creatures, really honestly a short flight away from everywhere. There's also a cave very close to this area, and it's one of the easiest caves in the game to complete, so that also can give you more resources through drops as well. The biggest thing you'll need to worry about when it comes to surviving in the Maw is the large carnivores. As you can see in the footage that I am showing, raptors attack me. Raptors aren't that big of a deal. Whatever. However, this also is where you can find Giganotosaurus, so you'll want to take that into consideration. This is also where I have found Allosaurus, packs roaming, T-Rex, while it's not a carnivore, the Therizinosaur is also here, which is a plus and a minus, honestly, because when you think about it, you are going to need those special big dinos. Theries are good against the dragon, Rexes and Allos are good against the other two creatures. I mean, honestly, this is a great place to set up both for resources and for creature count. Now this next area is kind of a twofer for you guys. I personally don't like building in the first of these two areas. However, they're so close together that I decided to just throw them into one slot. The area that I talk about, of course, is the Hidden Lake and the Northeast Shores. Now, the Hidden Lake is, again, one of the most beautiful areas in Ark Island, I feel like, on the island map. It is rivaling the South Shores, or the South Isles that I did as our number 6, but unlike the South Isles, there is plentiful metal nearby because of mountains. There is plentiful different types of spawns, including a beaver spawn in the lake itself, so you can even get cementing paste such as that. It's very, very useful. Beavers are also great tames for getting wood, and so honestly, it's a great place to build your base. I don't like building there because it does screw with the spawns though, so where I actually choose to build is the Northeast Shore. That area, in my opinion, is nearly as beautiful because there is another little hidden lake, but there's no unique spawns around there. It's all raptors, Dilophosauruses, stuff like that, so it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion, to build a base there and disrupt those spawns. Again, there are many drops around here. Usually the loot drops are going to be blue or purple. I have occasionally seen yellow and red, so use that info as you do. It is also very, very close to the ice biome. However, with how close it is, you would expect it to be cold, but it's really not all that cold all the time. Actually, sometimes you end up a little too overheated, so you do want to have that snow gear just so that you can venture into the snow biome easily. However, again, it's very, very easy to just to survive here. There's rarely large carnivores that will appear in the area itself. Usually they will walk into the area, which means you will have a lot of time to prepare. There are, however, a lot of spawns not too far away of large carnivores such as Rexes and the such. So it's a very good spawn area as well. And like I said, you can get access to the beavers. Up on the mountains, there's Ankies and Dodicks. So all in all, great spawn area, excellent build space, and once again, very, very beautiful. It's also close enough to Carno Island that a quick fly over there gives you what you need there. And honestly, the only real negative that I see is you're all the way up north, so if you ever need to get south stuff done, it can be a little bit of an issue, but most of the stuff in the south area you honestly can get fairly early in the game, so it's a really good place to like kind of move your base to prepare for the end game. And that's going to bring us to our number 1 slot, Herbivore Island. Now, Herbivore Island is very far removed from everything else in the game. There are a couple of caves and stuff that are on the outskirts of the island as well that Herbivore Island is fairly close to. However, in my personal opinion, that is actually a plus as well as a minus to it. One of the great pluses of Herbivore Island is the fact that early game safety is so hard to find. And on Herbivore Island, there are no aggressive dinosaurs. So unless you attack them, they are not going to attack you. There's also key tames on Herbivore Island. So there's Stegosauruses, which I've stated in previous videos are great early game tames, but also can sit pretty in the boss fight of the dragon, which is like the hardest boss fight on the island. So it's really important to get a good group of Stegos, and they're right here on the island, safely able to be tamed, because unless you attack other things, nothing's going to attack you, and nothing is going to attack them either. There's also the Anki, which is a great metal harvester, extremely important. And despite the fact that you are so far away from everything, there is a little bit of everything here on Herbivore Island. There are quite a few metal nodes, so you can get 300-400 metal per day basically. And then on top of that, there is oil in the ocean nearby. It's not the safest in the ocean ever, so definitely be careful when going into the ocean.
Shush.
Megs and such are in the area, so that is like the one danger of Herbivore Island. So just be careful going into the ocean, but beyond that, you should be safe to really get whatever resources you need. And honestly, this is one of the absolute best early game starting positions. I personally like to be in this base basically until I'm ready for endgame, but even if you decide to stay here until the end game, especially with the advent of the cryopods and people making the mods for better cryopods, honestly, there isn't much negative to be said about Herbivore Island. I almost forgot to mention as well, there is a drop that comes down on the island very frequently, and it is either going to be blue or purple almost every single time. So a good drop as well. So I mean, honestly, there's not much negative about this place beyond its distance from everything. That is going to bring us to the end of our list today. This again was the top 6 base locations on the island for PvE. If you enjoyed this list, slap a like, comment, and subscribe. If you agreed with this list, let me know. If you found something new, let me know. Or if you have a base location for me, also just drop the coordinates in the comments so I can check out where you guys like to build your bases, because I love learning new things about Ark, and I love learning how other people's minds work. Now, like I said, I don't know anything about the PvP bases and all that. I know there's like weird rat holes and stuff like that. I don't understand that stuff, so if anyone wants to kind of explain that to me, drop some locations that I can find some of that stuff, so maybe in the future I can make a video about that. Awesome. But until next time, as always, survivors, keep on surviving.